Hey guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a bunch of new methods I've learned and figured out to make hard rave techno drum loops. Now, to go along with this video, I've just dropped a new sample pack. It's called Ultimate Hard Rave Techno Drum and Kick Loops Volume 1. The link is right in the top of the description. You can see the pack is right here. What this is you get a bunch of really solid drum construction loops. You can see, I'll play you a few of these really quick. So it's these really solid loops. You have all the individual layers, plus it comes with these kick loops as well, which with these you get all the individual layers as well. You can see they're all BPM labeled. You know, you can just take the kick and work with it very easily. On top of this, you get all the project files to all of the individual drum loops, so you can work with those in Ableton. Plus, I have a new hard kick rack, which you can drop on any kick and turn it into a nice, hard, punchy techno kick like this. So yeah, this is a really valuable pack. I think it's got a lot of great stuff, and if you guys want to support me, this is a really great way to do it. The link is at the top of the description. You know, I don't make a whole lot just off of YouTube ads and that stuff alone, but with this and with different things like this, I'm able to keep going and keep bringing you guys new videos every single day. So thank you to everyone who goes and picks up the pack. Once again, link is at the top of the description. And yeah, let's dive into the video. So, this is one of those loops actually. I have the project file here in front of me, and I just want to break it down on kind of like the different levels of stuff first, because I think a lot of times we talk about like how to make a kick or how to make a fat hi-hat, but we don't really talk about how it's all fitting together. So, the first thing to keep in mind here is that there's always going to be some stuff that's like kind of constantly going, whether it's a kick that's like doom doom doom, or like a percussion loop that's tick, 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 tick. But then there's also going to be the stuff that's kind of like coming in and out, and you need that contrast of some stuff to be constantly going and some stuff to be happening a little bit. So here you can see these are separated into pretty easy little groups to see that. Because you can see just this stuff on its own is a little bit flat, right? Like, obviously it has the groove, it's a nice loop and all that, but it really needs that, like, extra stuff that's kind of just happening on top of it. And you can hear that's going to really bring it to life. So yeah, I think that stuff is really important, and I think it's important to kind of think of it that way. You know, you don't want to just think of it as, like, just your hi-hats and your percussion, but also have some little background effects like this. Now, when you're actually going to make the loop, usually what you're going to do when you're making a track like this in general is you're always going to start with the kick and then the bass. So I have the kick here. You can see it's just a nice fat hard techno kick. And then for the bass, we're using a 909 kick. And I believe this is actually just Ableton's 909. So you have this exact sample if you have any version of Ableton. But then what I've done here is I've got it being compressed a little bit, which I'll show you why we do that. Here's without it. And then with it. You can hear it really helps because it makes the bass a little bit more even across like the length of the sample. And then we have this chain, which is just distorting it a bit. So what's happening is we have a saturator and a drum bus, and then some EQs here. And then what's happening is we're using one EQ to kind of boost going into the saturation, so those mids and highs will get really crunchy. And then at the end, we're just kind of boosting some more stuff to bring out a bit more like fatness. And yeah, so this is like probably the most important part for getting the distorted kick. You can see when we turn that off, it's a very different sound. And then the last steps on here are just going to be to sidechain it to the kick. So we just got, yeah, that sidechain there. And then you can see we have 2 EQs. So one of these is just cutting at 30 hertz because you really can't hear anything much lower than that. So we just cut that to make it a little bit more room for when we're mastering. And then also I'm cutting at 100 hertz, which is just making a little bit of room for the kick to come through. And yeah, so the reason why we do this is because if we start with those, you know, that's almost like 50% of the mix right there, right? Like if I turn that off, so yeah, you can see it makes a big difference if you really start with that kick, because I think you're setting up the foundation of the track this way, and then everything on top of it can be a lot more solid. It's like, if you have a solid foundation, it's a lot easier to create solid elements on top of it than, like, if you just have, like, say, like, a kind of whatever kick that's not that good. You know, the whole track is going to suffer from that. But yeah, and then once we do that, I usually move up to the hi-hat, which is happening in 2 layers, so we've got... So one like and one like, and then you put them together. And you can see you get the punch of one with the sort of like body of the other. And if you had one on its own, it wouldn't really work. And this is the thing, is like, you know, why sit there with a sample pack and try to dive through and find like one sample that's going to be the perfect hi-hat when you can just take a few different ones and make the perfect hi-hat if you just know what you're looking for. Like we have one to be in the high end, one to be kind of like the punch. You know, it's not that hard. You can find these in a lot of different sample packs. You just have to find high quality samples and know how to layer them together. And then there's no processing there. You know, you don't need anything extra. There's a little bit of reverb on this one, but other than that, nothing. And then we have this closed hat. You know, it's just playing 16th notes. And then the last thing down here that's like constantly going like this is going to be this rave loop. Then this one, I kind of chopped a little bit, so I'll play you the original sample. So yeah, you can see I pitched it down a bunch, and it's on this beats mode, so you're getting kind of like a nice, like deep percussion loop from that. And then that just sits really well underneath all of those percussions that I just showed you. And I think the important thing with these is that a lot of people think this style of techno is just like get the hard kick and then get like the loop, you know, the rave loop, and put them together. But that doesn't really work, right? Because it's missing a lot if you just do like just the kick and the loop. You know, that's a lot of texture there, but you still need these, because without these, yeah, you can see those just add that extra bit of energy. So that's what I would start with. I would start with like these elements, like just the main core things that are just constantly happening. And then once you have that, you can go and kind of get some more of the background stuff. So the way that I made this here is I actually took this little effects loop that I made a while ago. Yeah, it's just that. And then what's happening is I just chopped it. It's just like, you know, kind of keeping it really tight and really like with the groove that's already happening. So it's just like. And then right here, this is just this one sample. This is also a sample I made. I'm pretty sure that what both of these were was essentially this eventide space over here, and then I was just like tweaking different settings in it and sending like some different effect sounds from the computer into it. So it's not that hard to make these sounds, but then the goal is like you kind of make these in one session, and then when you're going to make a track later, you have these and you can kind of like chop them rhythmically like this, and then it allows you to kind of create a percussion loop that's going to fit into the beat really well. And yeah, so then I've just got that going through a bit of echo, a little bit of drum bass as well. And then after you have that, so that's going to be one that's still like kind of popping in and out of the beat, but it's still very frequent. Then we're going to have some that are much more spaced out and kind of in the background. So that's what the sweep and this little noise down here are. Yeah, you can hear it's just like. You know, like these on their own seem really small, but it's just carrying the track along. Just having that little there is just going to add a lot more energy. And all those are is like, this one is just a little bit of white noise inside of operator, bandpass filter, and then an erosion. And then the sweep here is just like a little audio sweep with a bit of reverb, some overdrive, and then a high pass. Again, these are a little bit quiet, but when you have all these main elements already hitting really nicely, this is all you need. It's just these little extra things to kind of bring it home. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get ultimate hard rave techno drum loops and kick loops right at the top of the description. Once again, this really helps support me if you guys enjoyed these videos. Not only do you get a really solid sample pack, which has these drum construction loops, plus the Ableton files, plus the kick loops, which have all the individual layers as well, plus the hard kick rack. You literally have everything you need to make really, really solid, hard-hitting drums in this style. You know, this is meant to be like a one-stop shop so that you don't have to go and constantly be looking through a million sample packs. You just have one really solid resource that you can work from. And yeah, again, this really helps support me. I don't make a whole lot just off the YouTube ads, but with these sample packs, I'm able to keep bringing you guys new videos every single day. So thank you so much to everybody who goes and grabs this, and I will see you tomorrow.